Today on Kicks Chronicles, we talk life and kicks with the visual content manager for the Soul Supplier, John Francis. We talk about the kicks he loved growing up and his current modern day collection. How did he get involved with such a massive company? He lets us know the inside. Plus, he gives us his advice for all content creators. Also gives us his top 3 of 2023. And lastly, he talks about what kicks he would take with him if he was stranded on a desert island. Yes, this is Kicks Chronicles. Yes, my people, big PROZECH back again. You already know what it is, man. Episode 66 of your sneaker and lifestyle podcast, Kicks Chronicles. As I said, I'm your boy PROZECH. Welcome. Very, very happy to have you, man. Thank you for everyone that managed to watch our most previous episode. Episode 65 with the man them. That was part 2 of our Christmas special. You guys absolutely loved that. I really, really do appreciate it. But that is available on all platforms you get podcasts. People, make sure to go and vibe with that because that was real good work. Adam Roberts and your man Kath did their thing. Where are my manners, by the way? Where are my manners, man? Happy New Year, people. Happy New Year. If I could get the words out. Happy New Year. We're in 2024. It's a new year, man. God has done it, man. We're here, man. We made it. God is good. So I hope you guys had an amazing break. You get me? A lovely festive period with the family. You get me? A little bit of time to rest, recuperate, and reset for 2024. I can't lie. I started 2024 off with the strongest vim that I've had in a long time. I can't tell you. The vim was so strong. I was just chatting the most. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be posting every day. I'm going to be doing this. I was on 1,000. Real talk, you get me? And it took me a couple of days to simmer down. I can't lie. A couple of days to simmer down. Significantly, in fact. And yeah, I got hit with a sickness. You get me? I'm just holding down a little cold right now. And then it brought me back down to my senses. And I said, you know what, yeah, even though I'm praying that 2024 will definitely exceed my expectations in regards to the podcast, I'm going to approach it in a bit more of a pragmatic fashion, put in that work. We'll talk a little bit less and do a little bit more. How about those numbers? You get me? You get me? So we're going to be doing a little bit more of that. And I'm going to really be relying on you, man, to help me out, especially when it comes to pushing out this podcast, man. I'm going to rely on you guys to help me out with that. But before we get into all of that, some of you, man, are going to hear in my voice that, you get me, man, I'm not feeling well right now. You get me? And this is what I'm talking about with 2024. Man came in with all kinds of energy and vim, and then I got hit sideways with a little bit of a cold. You get me? This thing's trying to hinder my agenda, and I'm trying to give you that straight hot fire. You get me? But in 2024, we're not letting anything hold us back. We're not allowing enemies of progress to hold us bound. You get me? We left that all in 2023. And in fact, yeah, I was thinking about, you know what? Maybe let me just delay the podcast another week. Let me get ready so I can do this intro real nice, so that people will see that high energy PROZECH that you lot love. And then someone told me, you know what, man, bun all that. We're real out here, bro. We're real out here. You know, a wise man called Loaded Lux once said,
"Hold up, we gonna get this work.
You man are gonna get this work. You're going to get this work. A wiser word has never been said. You man are going to get this work by hook or by crook every week. 2024, you man are going to get this work. You get me? This work. And that's the energy I'm moving on in 2024. You man are going to get this work. You get me? I'm going to need you man's help. And your continued support. If you're watching this and you're this on YouTube and you ain't hit that subscribe button, just hit that subscribe button for your boy. Just do that, man. Little early 2024 gift to your boy and the podcast. Just hit that subscribe button. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple or anywhere you get your podcast, just do a little rate and review. You get me? Hit that follow button. You get me? Instagram and TikTok, hit that follow button. You get me? And share. Why you not just hold stuff for yourself? I see the numbers. I know how many people are watching and how many people are listening. Why am I just holding it for you? Share with one other person. Just be like, bro, I listened to this podcast. This podcast may be one of the best podcasts I've ever listened to in my life. I just wanted to share that with you, man, because I love you. Yeah, just do that. Like, if you want me to write down the text for you, just hit me up on Instagram and I'll do that. It's no problem. You get me? Like, I'm happy to write the text for you. You get me, man? But yeah, share them with your man them, yeah. It's a little thing. Share it with your man them. You get me? And yeah, man, that stuff all really does help. It massively, massively, massively helps. With all of that being said, even with all of the things that I've been talking about in regards to 2024 and how it started, one thing that did happen at the very beginning of 2024, which was really, really cool, is the people over at Kicks and Coffee reached out and basically was like, I should say specifically, it was Joe. Joe over at Kicks and Coffee basically was like, we've heard of the podcast, we like what you guys are doing, we like what you're doing, I should say, we like what you're doing over there with the podcast pro, so keep that up. We're wondering if you could talk to your listeners about our sneaker convention, our sneaker festival. And I said, so what are you chatting about? And he was like, oh, it's about, and I said, I'm joking, bro. I already know what Kicks and Coffee are about, bro. You get me, man? I wanted to go to the first event that happened last year at Hertfordshire University. I know what I got. I wasn't able to get down to that one, but are you telling me that I could come down to this one? And he's like, yeah, you can come down to this one, and even better, right? We're opening it up to your listeners and to your viewers. If any of them want to come, right, and they want 25% off of a ticket, all they need to put into the thing when they're buying the tickets is at PROZECH 25, and they get 25% off their tickets, bro. I said, well, that sounds like some savings. See, it sounds like the savings you need after you had a big Christmas and a New Year's. There are going to be loads of vendors selling the hypest kicks. This is going to be taking place at the Big Penny Social in East London on the 4th of February, Sunday the 4th of February. If you like kicks, check. If you like coffee, check. Kicks and Coffee, you've done it, bro. You've clocked the whole game within the first few weeks of 2024. So yeah, if that's something that you'd be interested in, feel free to come down. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be bringing a few of my friends as well. There's going to be a few other recognizable faces, I should say. A few more recognizable faces, I should say. Far more recognizable than mine are going to be in the vibe and in the mix as well. So yeah, feel free to come down and chop it up. And if that's your thing, feel free to come down. And if you want to come down, but you don't want to spend all your money on tickets, at PROZECH 25, you get 25% off. That's for every listener and for every viewer. And feel free to share that amongst your friends and family. Yeah, you get me. And if you guys come down, feel free to say hello. Please come by and say hello to your boy. You get me? Now, with all of that aside, let's get into this week. This week, our guest is the visual content manager for the Soul Supplier. Now, guest number 2 from the Soul Supplier, it is John Francis. Big man John Francis, you get me? A lot of you may not know the name, but a lot of you are going to definitely know the face, because he is literally the face, along with Tay Lumley and a couple of others. He's literally the guy that you're going to see on a lot of the Soul Supplier's content. Very, very cool guy, very humble guy. And we get into his beginnings in Kicks and how he fell in love with Kicks. And he starts off talking about the legendary Jordan 3, which is a shoe that a lot of us know and love, especially after what happened last year with the Reimagine. Very, very cool shoe. He also dives into his collection. He's dropping gems, bro, because he's got a beautiful collection and he drops just straight gems. He also gives us his top 3 of 2023. Spoiler alert, there is a Jordan 3 in there. I'm just going to put that out there. We also get into some quick fires. He talks to us about what shoots he'd take with us if he was stranded on a desert island. Lastly, we talk about what really being a sneakerhead means to him, and he gives us advice for those that are budding content creators on how to set yourself apart and put yourself out there. You get me? Very cool interview. John is an awesome guy. I would absolutely love to have him back on the podcast at some point in the future. I just found this really interesting and entertaining. Really, really cool energy. And yeah, man. And yeah, and if anybody just wants to holler at me on the level anyway, kickschronicles@gmail.com. You already know how to do that, apart from all of the social medias as well. You get me? But yeah, man, people, before we get into the podcast, big up Ghana. You get me? Just lost their opening fixture of the AFCON. You get me? AFCON 2024. Ghana just lost it. You get me? Lost to Cape Verde. Where's Cape Verde? Oh yeah, it's in Africa. We're in Africa, bro. Anyway, don't let me get started, man. Chris Hughton, bro, you got one more game. You got one more game, bro. Because this will be the first time a manager will be sacked during the tournament. I'm just letting you know now. Yeah? I'm just letting you, man, know now. If Chris Hughton loses a game, he is sacked during the tournament. First time ever during any major tournament. You get me, man? But big up the rest of the Ghanaians. Yeah? Big up Kudus, Buduf. You get me? All of the man them as well, man, doing their thing. You get me? And also big up for all of you, man, that are Ghanaian but chose to not play for Ghana. Yeah? Yo, mom, I'm joking. I would have done the same thing. I get it. But with all of that being said, right, it's your boy PROZECH. This is Kicks Chronicles, and this week our guest is the amazing, the awesome, and the really, really cool John Francis from the Soul Supplier. I hope you guys enjoy it. Be blessed. Yes, my people. Big PROZECH back again, Kicks Chronicles, and we are here with another illustrious guest. You get me? You know we don't play. We don't play around there, man. And a few of you are going to remember that a couple months back at Creps Collection Club, I invited George Sullivan, CEO of the Soul Supplier. He was there. He gave us his time and he gave us some wild takes. You get me? Today, we have in our midst John Francis. He's one of the faces over there at the Soul Supplier and an absolute gentleman. So, John Francis, what's kicking, my bro?
Yeah, we good, bro. I mean, it's weird hearing that I'm number 2. Like, I have a boss, just to clarify. Big up Dan. He's actually number 2. But I'm just happy to be here, happy to represent.
Do you know what we're about? We're about vibes, and we're about what's on the what faces people recognize, and your face is most definitely one that people recognize, man. People are definitely gonna recognize you from being involved in a lot of the online content for Soul Supplier, and we will certainly get into sort of your journey into Soul Supplier and sort of how that came about. But you know what we got to do first? We got to start right at the beginning, G. You get me? Kicks Chronicles, man, we need to understand, we need to know, what was that first love? What was that first shoe? The one that said to you, John, you gotta have me, bro. You gotta have me.
You know what? Yeah. So for the people who know me, they know that I'm a big Jordan 3 head. And essentially for me, my first love was the Jordan 3 Black Cement. So that was the very first shoe where I was like, bro, I don't care how I get this. This has to be something that I get for myself. But the thing was, your boy was like 11 years old at the time, and it was just like, trying to cough up. What was it? 130 quid at the time. My mom, they look at me like I'm foolish, you know. You'll be looking at one side of Foot Locker, they'll be looking at the discount section and be like, "This is your budget. This is your information. This is your budget." You know.
They're like, no, hold up. This is you. This is
like you don't have the facilities for this baby. Like that's what's been happening.
That's hilarious. Bro, I've been there, G. I've been there.
Because I'll tell you what, like as much as I love the Black Cement, it wasn't the very first 3 that like proper caught my eye, because that wasn't what was on the shelf. What was on the shelf during that time was the Jordan 3 Infrared. I don't know if you didn't actually get it at the time, but I got it afterwards, around 2020. So like.
Yeah.
It didn't actually restock or anything, but this is just an eBay find. So you can see, just because of how much it's aged.
Oh yeah, the crack midsole, man. We're about that. We are about that. Where are your kicks, broski? Where are your kicks?
That's how it is, man. Because like, I remember getting this off the guy, and he was just like, "It's been in my attic for like a couple of years," and I was like, "I've been looking for this since I was a kid." So just for reference as well, I'm 25 now. So to be able to, like, I feel like as a sneakerhead, just to be able to get the shoes that you wanted when you were younger is just like so important for your journey.
Huge.
Yeah, honestly. And it's just, even despite the fact like this looks like something that's aged for bears, like I'd still rock this even if it doesn't look perfect, because
1000%, man. It's the story, man. Like, I mean, I say often when it comes to Kicks Chronicles, we're about connections, not collections. It's not about the amount that you have, but it's how deeply those shoes are connected to you, man.
Mm.
And like, there's no deeper connection than that sort of like that first initial love, that first initial shoe that you're like, bro, like whether it's a silhouette or a specific colorway, and then being able to pick it up down line, and regardless of the condition, regardless of the circumstances, just being able to go full circle on that move, like, is actually a vibe. So now, man, I'm with you 100%, man. I'm 100% the same. You get me? Like, there were certain shoes when I got my bread up, with certain shoes that I needed to get touched, where straight up and down. So I'm with you, my bro. I'm with you.
But yeah, I mean, just to answer your question, that was the first love. Like, I loved both the white and the black cement, but in terms of looking at a shoe for the first time, I was like, I want that shoe. And
I get you.
like 7 years later, it happened.
Oh, you smashed it. You smashed it. And like, give us a little bit of an understanding. Sort of, what area did you grow up in? Did you grow up in the UK? Did you grow up abroad? What was your upbringing like?
Yeah, so I was born in the Philippines. Both of my parents are Filipino, and I came here like around nursery time, so it was around
Okay.
3 4 years old. But I never really lost that heritage, man, because I think for me, I don't know how many brethren you know that are like Filipino. There might be a couple, but there's always a mixed bag of like people who understand their heritage and some
Hmm.
who completely like neglect it in
Yeah,
a sense.
that can always be a thing. Yeah,
I like
especially when you're outside of the country, right? Yeah, I get you.
like I think for me, my parents have always told me like we should be proud of what our identity is, and I always resonated with that.
1,000,000%.
I can still speak my mother tongue. We go home best we can. Like before I graduated, we were always there every other summer. So
Wow.
really lost my connection with both like my family outside of like my close relatives, and to be able to still grow up in essence, like even though it was just a month, to still grow up eating Filipino food, to still grow up
Come on.
to enjoy like your culture outside of what is like generic, I guess.
Hmm.
Like it's just definitely some sort of representation for me that is important, and I try to shine that through with what we do for work
Uh-huh.
whenever it's like applicable, and really just show like there's diverse faces and it's not just one specific person behind the soul supplier and what the creative is
Oh, 100%.
doing, making sure that like I'm seen, and the people who look like me, like come from the same background as me, notice that someone can represent them through what I do.
100%, man. Yeah, I couldn't have put that any better, man. I think like representation is just so important in every facet, and for a business the size of Soul Supplier,
Mm-hmm.
like, it's massively important. It's a reflection of the culture that we report on, that we speak about, that we're part of, you know, that sort of touches every country, touches every race, touches every religion, touches everything, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So yeah, representation is super important. And with that being said, like, when you were growing up, like, so when you came over to the UK, because obviously if you came over like 3 or 4, you probably don't have a huge memory of how things were in the Philippines. But that being said, you did go back and forth, so you can give me an understanding, like, in terms of like, even when you're in the UK or when you're in the Philippines, when you look back in your mind's eye, what do you see on people's feet?
Uh, I mean, when it came to what was on people's feet, like I came from a modest family, man. So
Mm, mm.
everything was almost like a hand me down. For like you go
Oh,
from generation to one generation to the next generation until it falls apart. But
yeah,
what I was used to and what I remember is just like it's not going to be a very interesting answer, but like Havana's on people's
come
feet.
on, that's it, bro. Yeah, 100%.
You get a lot of like our relatives. It feels like that's their Nike almost in a sense, like back in the day. So if you got a fresh pair of Havianas on, we like in Tagalog we call it chinelas. So it's
Mm, mm.
Spanish. So that would just be like slippers and whatnot. But I can't tell you a lot of people who had like proper like nice kicks, and by nice kicks like that's I don't want to make it a bit classist in that essence, but
Mm.
you don't get a lot of fancy kicks in terms of that aspect of it. Like I probably didn't have a decent like I didn't have like a high heat pair of shoes until uni, and like
Yeah, I respect it.
before that point I was probably wearing like I don't know if you remember this, but like Puma disc blazers was some of my favorite.
Yeah,
Like
Puma disc was crazy.
I had a pair of shoes that was like we found in like Braintree outlet or one of those outlets out in Kent, Ashford maybe.
Ashford, or yeah. Ashford is a vibe. I'll be getting Ashford for you.
Honestly, back in 2011, I was rocking the Adidas Hardlands. I don't know if you know what model that is.
Nah.
It was a pair of
I'll
30
look up.
pair of 30-pound kicks that had like some. Looking back at it, I cringed wearing this shoe, but it's because I have a history of I was a street dancer back in the day, innit? So
Come on.
I liked shoes that were like flashy in essence. So if I had to show it to you, bro, I know this is gonna long out your podcast a little.
No, it's calm, bro. Would they call the Highlands or
It's Hardlands, bro.
Hardlands?
Yeah. So they looked like I can't believe. I don't know if there's gonna be any images of this from like back in the day, but you could literally call me like Twinkle Toes the way that this shoe looks like. So I don't know.
I said Twinkle Toes, man.
I don't
You
know how
believe it?
it is, yeah. But like you can see, it looks like this.
John B. Bro.
No, wear those ones.
Zoom in on that gold one, bro. So don't try and be quick with
I
this.
didn't even wear that one specifically, but it was this one, yeah. Like it
Oh,
has
bro.
like that all,
But to be
it's all sparkly, and then those are like studs for like
wow. To be fair though, like Adidas did have a mad connection with the b-boy community. Like they had a massive connection with them. Like all the way from like early hip hop, Crazy Legs, Shell Toes and Boom Boom Boom. Like all the way down to like whatever, like Missy Elliott and all of them, man. Like music, dancing, Adidas have always been vibes, man. So I know it doesn't surprise me that they had them blingy shoes, and I remember those blingy shoes, man. Like there was a lot of shoes like those high top type of shoes that like were just super out there.
because this
like almost Jeremy Scott, like.
yeah, so
right?
I was literally about to bring this up. So literally that model or slash silhouette is the same as all of the Jeremy Scotts like from back in the day.
100%.
It's a lot less flamboyant.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. And obviously like those like back in the day, those resold for, like crazy to be able to
Really?
do anything like that. Yeah, it was just like that. The pair that I showed you, that was just 30 quid. But like
It's true.
those Jeremy Scotts were beat shoe back in like 20.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So yeah, that's what was crazy about it. But if you want an interesting answer in terms of what I had back in the day, I had a pair of the very first like hype pair I can really remember. My parents treated me out for my birthday, and they got me an Air Max 90 Laser Blue, and that was the very first hype shoe that like
That's strong.
I conceived as a hype shoe back in the day, and like I flexed that boy, like I would. That was all the budget I had for my drip. So it was I had a clean pair of shoes, but everything else was just like mid as hell. So if you were coming to talk to me, it was literally just like shoes first. Don't worry about this.
For real. Just put that best foot forward. Just acknowledge the shoe, and then like I was saying, like everything else we'll have to talk about that. I don't know if you've heard the term unholy grail before.
Unholy grail. Enlighten me now, man.
You're intrigued. I can tell. All right, so an unholy grail is, and I think I'll probably coin the term, so I'll have to trademark it one day. But an unholy grail is an unbranded type of shoe, like the type of shoe that you may like. It may even have a brand, but the brand may be like of a certain type. I'll give you a few examples. So you might have like a Plimsoll or a Gola, a High Tech, Dunlop, Everlast, quite popular, Ascot tracks, Adore. Did you ever have to dabble in the unholy?
Oh,
for want of a better term.
To be fair, like I consider unholy grails. Those are kind of like you got it at home kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think back in the day, I did have to shop in Sports Direct because that was like the budget that my parents had back in the day.
Really?
But
Respectfully,
I was wearing some like British Knights or some Airwalks, like those
Airwalks
in the day. But it was just like those. That's what's trendy now.
I don't know if I would ever. I mean, I wouldn't put Airwalks. The funny thing with like back in the day, you look at it and you'd be like, oh, those are kind of skater boy shoes or whatever. Like British Knights completely missed me, even though like it was a big inspiration behind the Travis. I remember reading that and being like, yeah, I think I completely missed that whole space. But I've spoken to so many people after that have brought up British Knights as a cool brand. But yeah, I wouldn't class them as unholy. But yeah, man, it's always good to ask just so people can understand, because it's not about sort of it's not necessarily a reflection of who you are or what you have or anything like that. It's more of just an understanding of that's what it was at the time, and this is where I am now, and I came through it, bro. We made it, G. We made it. You get me, man. Let's move more into that the modern day, and let's go into the EST of KIC. And when I say EST, I'm talking about the oldest, the newest, the rarest, the greatest, the most expensive, the best. You get me? This is what you have in your modern collection. This is what you're rocking currently. So let's start with the oldest. What's the oldest shoe you've got in your current collection?
So when you sent me this question, I was kind of conflicted on whether I show you like my very first shoe that I like ever owned, or the oldest, like chronologically speaking.
I hear you. I love that. So I'm good with either. Because
Okay.
either way, they're gonna be old.
So yeah, this is what I mean. So I've changed my rotation through the years. So I want to say I started seriously collecting around 2018, and that's gonna be when my current oldest shoe is. And as I've already talked about it, you probably know what I'm gonna be pulling out now.
Oh, okay.
So my oldest shoe, the Black Cements. So
Hard.
dude, like honestly, I was in, I want to say, second year uni, knowing that this was coming out back in 2018. After the story that I told you, you can understand why it was so important to have this shoe.
Yeah.
And 5 years on, like it's still looking pretty decent.
It actually looks fantastic. Yeah, it looks really good.
Because it's kind of just like looking at the shape and like going through the years now, I've managed to secure like the whole OG collection in some for like one way or another, because I don't know if the reimagined will count as like an OG. But
I do.
yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'd never have a Chicago. I've got to.
Pretty close. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you got to do it, bro.
Like looking at this back tab in its own right, I was just like, this Nike Air back tab is just something that's special for a lot
Amazing.
of people, included.
Yeah, super hard.
And that's, yeah, it's just like, this is one of the shoes that like I grew up wanting to have, and knowing that I could grow up with it now, that's such a different feeling to be able to own, grow up with it, and just have it. Like,
that's an absolute vibe, man. That is an absolute banger of a shoe. Like, you're just even reminding me, man. Like, I was so angry that I didn't get the white cements like this year, man. I really need them. I'm hoping that before the end of the year, maybe like I can pick them up, man. But yeah, I had them in my top 10. They're just so clean, and it's just like a simple, like just super clean colorway. And it, like I know what happened with the elephant print was mad.
Yeah,
It was crazy. I remember seeing a couple of videos from you guys just highlighting everything that was going on, and just like the whole scene was literally melting after like waiting for this shoe for so long, and then literally Nike just fumbled the bag on the elephant print. It was just such a joke, man. But for the most part, majority of people got like really got like passable pairs and stuff. So I'm hoping to pick up a pair. I'm just hoping that pair doesn't come in with some crazy print on the back.
oh, that too, yeah. I'm lucky that both my pairs are like relatively okay. Like you see on them differs per, because luckily, I mean, I was able to land one pair for retail, and I've got another for resale, just because one rock, one stop. Like I don't know when
100.
because I'm gonna see this. So, but my pairs are like luckily okay. But that's technically not the oldest pair that I have in my collection, because even the infrared I showed you, that's older.
Yeah, I hear that.
But I have a pair of Jordan 3s that are, their release date was 2007. So I was in year 5 when the shoe came out.
That's so crazy,
That's
bro.
a madness to me, because like the name of the colorway has kind of escaped my head a little bit, but it's in here if you don't mind me showing.
Yeah. Jump in, bro. Jump in. You never have to ask me for permission to go and grab a pair of Kicks, G. Do your thing, man.
I cannot take this pair out, bro. I'm telling you, because literally, I found this on eBay back in 2021 for about 140 quid, and the reason that this pair is so special, right, is because one of the pairs of threes that I've really actively like wanted to look for is a pair of pure monies. So all
Yeah,
white, just I want a clean pair of white.
clean. Yeah, yeah,
Because it's just like white cements are great, but like all over, it's not like a pure white pair.
yeah.
This is probably the closest I've had to getting like a pure white, pure money per se. And the reason this pair is so special is because this was actually a women's exclusive release.
Oh,
And the fact that, imagine how hard it is to get like a UK 9 now for a women's shoe. Imagine that in 2007.
bro,
So
bro.
that's why, like, looking at this pair, it's just like so clean. The details of it are so nice. But the main problem is one wear in. Look at this.
Oh God. Ugh.
Bro, I spent money on eBay, and that happened in the first wear. And like,
Oh
obviously, it
God.
makes sense because like it's such an
It's an
old,
older shoe. Yeah.
but it's kind of just like as a novelty now. I haven't been able to see someone that has this pair or gets to talk
Mhm.
about it as much.
I've never, bro. I'm being like obviously just like knocking around and working in the shops and going to convention stuff, bro. I've never seen that shoe.
Mm.
Do you know this is so interesting because like you like if I ask a question, because I will ask the question later on. Actually, I'll ask the question now. Like, what's your rarest pair? You may draw for that pair. You may even bring out that pair and say that because the truth of the matter is, even though it was probably a GR at the time it came out, even though it was a women's only, like I ain't never seen nobody wear that shoe, and in that fact, and so in the true sense of the word, it's a rare shoe. You get me? It may not be a super hype shoe or a super heated shoe, but it's a very rare shoe and a cool one at that. So yeah, I respect that, man. I
Yeah,
respect that.
this probably isn't even the rarest shoe that I have, and I
I respect
still
that.
have an interesting answer for you because I had to pull this out, and I was just like, I know he's gonna ask something about my rarest shoe. But another eBay find, might I ask?
Shout out to eBay, just killing the game, boy.
So,
Killing it, keeping all these man honest.
yeah. So this is gonna be you might actually know this one more because it's a bit more familiar, but these are my rarest.
Oh yeah, I hear that.
So
I hear that.
you probably already know the name, the Dornbeckers. But this one's like super fake. Yeah, like the details on this and the whole Dornbecker collection in itself. Like
Yeah, man.
I just had to make sure like this was legit. I still don't know till this day. I'll be real with you, but it's just like knowing that I have this. It's like the second most I shelled out on a pair of shoes, but the person was like selling legit like NBA collectibles.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I was,
I'm pretty sure like you've done your due diligence and that. But the Dornbecker Foundation and their connection with the Jordan brand is actually like it's crazy to me. Like these kids don't flop at all.
oh,
Like these kids, yeah,
not though, it's child labor, but yeah,
bro. Let's just call it what it is, bro.
yeah.
Like what is going on in that hospital? Like these men are there. Apparently, they're on death's door, all got terminal illnesses, but they're just knocking up killer silhouettes and killer killer colorways for that in the last 20, 15 years or whatever it is. Like, bro, like it's actually nuts, man. So shout out to the Dornbecker Foundation and what they do is obviously amazing. But yeah, that's so funny to me. Every time someone pulls out a Dornbecker, I'm like, and just think about the kids, bro. About the kids.
No, because yeah, like literally the fact that this is meant to tell a kid's story who is unfortunately someone with a terminal illness, and to be able to like carry their story with them, like,
Sick, man. It's actually amazing.
because like one of the details that I never realized about this pair was like even on the back tabs, you know how on the Amamaniers there's like a quote
Yeah.
back. Like if you've seen the Dornbeckers and like specifically the Priest on the back tab of this one, the kids' favorite shoes are on behind the back tab.
Are you serious?
Food, sorry, the kids' favorite food is on the back of the tabs, and you can see. I don't know if you're going to see it very clearly, but there's like an ice cream on the back,
Wow.
and then on this one, it's like spaghetti. So like,
Wow.
there's just a sense of
Trying to
story
make
behind it, isn't it? Or
trying to make dudes cry out here, man. With these little Easter eggs and that, man. But it's actually sick as well because that child can look back at least and just like it's like an aid memoir or a testimonial for that particular child, and yeah, and whatever happens, they've got a legacy that's really really cool. Like they've done something that like adults 3, 4, 5 times their age have never been able to do, and it's actually amazing. So yeah, let's bring it back to today, and let's find out what's your newest pair.
So my newest pair. Oh, I'm giving you all the visual references today, my bro.
Come on, bro.
So my newest pair that I actually had to bring home today is this one right here. I don't know if you're aware of the box, but a pair of Nocta Glides. These ones.
Wow. You got the white Nocta Glides. You dipped in, bro. You dipped in.
Yeah, imagine it's winter and I'm buying triple white.
Why triple white kicks? Do you know what? I have to do? I've got to hold my hands up a little bit because I didn't give the Glide the respect I think it probably now deserves. In hindsight, at the time, I felt in general, I felt Drake OVO. I feel like his contribution to shoes specifically hasn't been the best, if I'm being honest. Especially if you compare his standing in music, like to what you would expect from him in kicks. Like it didn't translate, right? Then you've got someone like Travis, who literally has built the majority of their legacy, in my opinion, off the shoes they've been able to create. So like I just wanted Drake to like do a bit more. Initially when I saw it, I was like, nah, that's not really it for me. But the more I've seen it and the more testimonials I've heard of it, about how comfortable it is, and then you start seeing some fits, especially the black and white ones. It's not a bad shoe, G. It's not a bad shoe, man. So I'm not hating, man.
Yeah, and I think it's just the sense of homage because it kind like the fact that it's influenced by the Zoom and like Flight 95s or what you call them, but the whole association to like retro basketball, 90s basketball. I'm not someone that lived through it because I was born when Jordan was having his last dance and all that.
Real talk, man.
The fact that like I can kind of connect in my own way, in essence, like I probably won't be buying any Zoom Flight 95s anytime soon, but the kind of just like association that I have, like Drake is, and he's an all-time GOAT, like, as much as people want to deny that in terms of music.
You have to put that respect on it.
Yeah,
man.
it's kind of just like I actually, despite all the shoes that I have, I don't have an all-white shoe. So like I literally had this conversation with you about my freeze. But it's just like I have a pair now that like once summertime comes around again, or if there's a really nice winter sunny day, this will be something that I'm gonna be.
That's slick. That can run. That can definitely run. And the chrome hits on there are actually really cool as well.
Because it's just like compare this one to like the Frozen Moment 4s. The chrome on this hits so much nicer and
very, very strong.
So yeah, it's just like such a solid pair to have, but it's not something that I'm wearing right away. So that's gonna be something.
I respect that. If I was to ask you to tell me what the greatest pair in your collection is, what would you bring out?
Oh, okay. This could bounce back and forth like for me constantly anyway, but this has to be my greatest pair. If you know about this shoe, Korean branding and everything. It's beat as hell, by the way, but the Peace -1s.
Oh.
And the main reason that this is like my greatest pair is I just started working at TSS during this time, and like the whole point of just like being able to buy shoes without having to worry about your bank account. This was probably the first pair of shoes where I was just like, I really want this. I really want to find the means to get it. And I actually traded this pair for I traded a pair of off-white Sale 5s.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Because to me, this shoe was more important as a release
I hear you.
than an off-white shoe. And
that's actually so interesting because, bro, like, because they did come out around, like, similar times. I believe it was like it was during the lockdown at a certain points. I actually, and it's funny that you mentioned because I got both.
Mm-hmm.
I actually managed to get the cell off white fives,
Mm-hmm.
and I managed to get the Peace -1, or as I like to refer to them, the Peace Minnesota. Can you give me your top three 2023 so far?
I'm sticking with it because I said it this week on the podcast, and that is the Peace -1 times Nike Quando 1, the recent white and black. I don't know what it is about that shoe, the one that looks like a bowling shoe, but I love it.
Are you sure that's not pronounced Peace Minnesota? I can keep this in the podcast, but I don't want you to look silly.
No,
is the problem. No. So I don't know whether you want to pronounce that. Do you want to say that properly?
Yeah, sorry, it's the Peace Minusson. The Peace Minusson times Nike Quando 1. Yeah.
The Peace Minusson. Shout out to Scott. He played himself on the podcast.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Normally, I'm the one that makes a fool of myself. So the fact that he did, that will be forever our greatest episode.
We love that.
Yeah. Oh man, if you remember, like basically, I had another like member of the team back in the day called Chris.
Yeah.
They told me, but when I got onboarded at TSS, that he was calling it Peace Minnesota.
100%.
It's not French, it's Korean, bro. Like, why are you pronouncing it like that? Yeah.
Oh man, I think G Dragon did that just so that he could confuse all of us, man. Because we were out here we're just out here trying to put pizzazz and sass on the name, but it's just basic, bro. But the shoe was vibes, and the whole idea of it, like sort of like cracking away and aging with time, and that whole like I feel like obviously shoes, like both of those shoes actually contributed to this whole like aged look that we sort of like just have regularly now, and the idea of like your shoes becoming older, your shoes I'm saying oxidizing, adding to their story, adding to their value, things cracking away, removing hidden layers and Easter eggs. Like it just adds a layer of fun to shoes, and just makes it interesting.
That's why I wanted to add the fact that like it's one of my greatest shoes. So let me explain the historical context behind it for me. So if you don't know who G Dragon is, he used to be in a K-pop group called Big Bang, and me within my teenage years, I was a big fan of K-pop, and a lot of people associate K-pop now with like BTS. They're like the it boy group of like today, but when I was growing up, these guys were literally like the kings.
Come on,
K-pop, and I grew up with a lot of their music, and knowing down the line, coming down to 2020, and I know the first pair came out in 2018, but your boy was broke, a broke uni student back in that day, and I'm not shelling out 500 quid to be able to buy a black pair of Air Forces. So when that came out, I knew I had the funds, I knew I had the means to be able to get that shoe, and even though I did trade one of the Off-White 5s, like that was because I had another one, luckily the raffles, so I was just like, I have the means to be able to trade this pair away and get a little bit of cash on top. So essentially, this paid for itself. So that's why it was just like that's why I saw your face and you were like, really? But in terms
no, because the thing is, like, I would never judge when I asked a question about greatness. That is completely like relative to the person. 100% relative to the person. So I will never judge your greatness. Like the truth is, because without knowing the story, how could I understand? Yeah, bro.
So that's the historical context of it, because I was like a big fan of his music back in the day, and the whole principle of it as just a sneakerhead. Everyone knows that you keep your Air Force Ones fresh, and the whole crispness of it.
Very smart.
Is
like it was so
what you have to do. But the poetic irony of this shoe is this shoe looks better the more you beat it.
This is it.
So it's kind of like the fact that all of these inner layers start unraveling, and then you get your own unique version of it based on how you've been stepping as you wear it. That's what was so intriguing to me, and like I wear this every time I dance. Or every time I go to the club. This is such an easy pair of shoes to just wear, and you don't have to worry about it getting dirty, because that's.
I love that. So I love that.
That's why it's just like so great to me in essence, and yeah, just a full circle moment.
I respect that, man. I respect that. The next question, I'm gonna apologize in advance. I'm sorry, and that's from the heart. right? No context.
What are you about to ask me, bruv?
Your house is burning down
Mm.
and you can only grab one. What you taking?
Oh man, I'm just looking at my shoes and I'm just like, these are all children, bruv. You're letting my burn.
You're about to go up in flames,
Ah,
bruv.
well, but there is one specific shoe, but it's funny because this is just like a pair of beaters that I own, but it's the Air Force One triple black Gore-Tex that I bought
Oh, okay.
quite a long time ago. So if I'm thinking my house is burning down and I need something that I can go through the mud in to be able to just like completely wear and I know is like durable tested, I bought this pair back in 2019 and it has not let me down almost 5 years on.
I like
And
that.
it's also just by my door, so obviously it's naturally just something. I'll get my passport and everything. Like shoes, the money comes back. As heartbreaking as it is, I just need to know that I can wear a pair of shoes that I can step in and you're sorted no matter what the condition is.
I respect that.
Yeah,
I respect that. I
it's
respect
not even
that.
anything hype, but like I need to
No, man.
functionality in it.
But you know the reason why I love asking that question is because it just boils us down to understanding what's really important when we think about that scenario. What's really important, and ultimately, you're a future planner. You're thinking, you know what? It's a shoe that I can roll with. It's a shoe that I like the look of. It's a shoe that's sturdy and reliable. And once your house is burned down, you need some reliability in your life. You know, to be fair. So I
Don't
don't,
have
I
anything
don't,
else.
I don't. I'm saying like I don't. I'm not shirking at your answer at all. I think it's a good answer, man. What I do want to ask you is about the Soul Supplier, man. It's a brand and a company. Every single, I'd imagine, everyone in the culture, in the sneaker culture, especially in the UK and Europe, are fully aware of what you guys do. You've been at the business for about sort of, I want to say 5-6 years. I've been seeing your face. How long has it been?
I appreciate that you think it's been that long, but it hasn't been. So I've been in the company since 2020.
2020.
Yeah. So
Okay. I was a little off.
it's all good. It's been
But yeah,
been there for 4
but
years now.
but you know, because do you know the reason why it seems longer? Because them lockdown years were like were all, yeah, bro. Them lockdown years were crazy. Everything just got doubled. It was mad. Nobody the understanding of time just got messed up. But I think it was especially during times like that and what's happened since in the scene where it was massive boom, like a huge boom in the scene. Companies like Soul Supply like really found their feet and became a staple for anybody trying to cop kicks. How did you find your way into Soul Supplier?
So for me, I'd been part of the community since before I could even afford to like buy a pair of trainers. So what, like, this might sound very polished, but this is genuinely how it went. Is if I wanted to find a pair of shoes, I wanted to be able to know the means to be able to get them. And what Soul Supplier provided for me before I could buy shoes was to find the people that had like-minded passion for what we wanted in sneakers. And if you've been in the community long enough, you'll know about the Facebook group and the fact that like there's people who bond over transactions, over breaking news, over knowing what kind of sneakers they're into. You get to discuss it, and I think that's what's so important about what we have as an ecosystem and network within TSS, where we're not just providing the means, but we're providing the environment for you to be able to thrive as a sneakerhead. And that's why knowing that I'm now like behind the curtain in aspects, because the reason that I actually got the job was because of the Facebook community, and they put a job post out asking for a videographer assistant or like just someone to help out with their day-to-day productions. And I came into the company just on 3 days a week, freshly graduated, and just knowing that I'm finally starting to do something that I've always wanted to do for myself, because as difficult as it is in the real world, to be able to find somewhere that ties all of your passions, where like I'm doing something that I studied in uni and I've been passionate about because I love storytelling. And I think content creation in itself has a stigma for being a bit cringy, where it's just like being called a content creator. kind
Yeah.
of rings bells in essence. But what I wanted to achieve as someone that creates content is to be able to tell stories that move people. And I think
Mm.
there's a lot of that within the sneaker space. So knowing that I can tie videography, storytelling, and sneakers all in one place through the job that I do, that's super important for what I want to achieve and therefore show as a message to anyone that gets to associate my face with anything.
Mm.
So yeah, that's the main aspect of it.
Yeah, that's amazing, and I completely agree. I think when you're young, the dream is to be able to do what you're passionate about, because what they say is if you do what you're passionate about, you never work a real day in your life. You're always enjoying what you do, and I can imagine people in the culture and people maybe watching or listening to this like have a similar dream to one day work in sneakers or work in and around all of the various different industries that support it. So what kind of advice would you give somebody that's interested in becoming sort of somebody similar to yourself or working in a similar industry?
For me, I think especially in like our day and age, it's very easy to build what you want to do on your own terms first. And doing so is a portfolio for whatever you want to do down the line.
Mhm.
So let's say in context of being a content creator, get a camera, which is usually on your phone anyway, do the proper research and tell accurate information.
Mhm.
It's easy as to also just become someone that reports on sneakers. And from there, you can just find out the connections of who you can reach out to when it comes to releases or drops. Talk about those drops, tell your opinion, and build a fan base. Because I think, in terms of what valuable information I can tell someone who is a content creator, there's always three aspects of things that you need to do with your content. It's to inspire, to entertain, or to inform. So you want to be able to achieve one of those three things, and if you're really good at it, you can achieve all three at the same time.
Amazing. Yeah, 100%.
And it's kind of just like you want to be able to resonate with audiences, because this is something that I've always wanted to incorporate with all of my work, where I want to create content which I know I would want to see as a sneakerhead.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just about selling you a product. It's about telling you a story, telling you how this improves your lifestyle and makes things easier for you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's like so important to do things like size guides, or how would I style this? How does this look when I look down at my shoes? Like, you want to be able to create content that people really care about. Because at the end of the day, just tell me how you make my life easier watching this.
This is it.
How is
This is it, man. Add value, and it's 100% the right answer, man. In terms of this content creation journey, as you said earlier, man, it sometimes can be a little bit cringy, but ultimately, if it's your passion and if it's something you really want to do, what you need to do is add value. There needs to be a reason why somebody's looking at what you're producing. Be funny, be entertaining, be informative, be educational. Do something that helps that person. You get me? I think one of the number one things that for me, especially getting into content creation, has been networking. Like, I think ultimately what you do, like what you were referring to, is super, super important. But who you're conversing with and how you're building your network is also really, really important skill. So that's one thing I would always add. Let's take a turn and let's do something a little bit different. 2023 is coming to an end, right? I think it's been a good year in terms of kicks. If I'm being honest, like we've had some bangers this year. Could you do something for me? Could you give me a top three?
Oh,
Is that possible?
yeah. I think I already had like something in mind for my top three. And like when I was discussing this with my colleagues, they were just like, "You're definitely picking this. You're definitely picking this." So people expect me to say the J Balvins for this year, and they were a great shoe, mainly just because I love sunsets. I love Jordan 3s. That's the whole point of it. Like I literally got it tatted on my skin, bro. Like that's how much I love. That's how much I love sunsets. But for me, number one goes to the Jordan 3 Reimagined. So the main reason being, this is just I've been waiting for a white cement for years, and like I never wanted to pay $350 to be able to get one.
I hear that.
But funny enough, I got two, so I spent more than $350, but like, at least I have two shoes.
But for real, yeah, you doubled, yeah, for real, I respect that.
Able to double up on that. My second one I have to shout out is the Jordan 4 SB Pine Green, mainly just because that kind of reinvents the whole. Yeah, I don't own the shoe personally because I don't find 4s comfortable. That's a hot take for a lot of like hype.
Yeah.
For me, it just doesn't work with my feet, in my opinion. That's my opinion. And the whole like the color scheme has just been rinsed and repeated for everything. It just works as like a success. I don't even think that was the first one, but it definitely popularized it. But the whole point of that shoe is just like it's puffier, it's nicer, it's that SB version, and I'm super excited for the Black Cat version of that as well to come out.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy.
That's gonna be mad. And I want that shoe as much as I don't like a Jordan 4. And then my last shout out has to be to the Cortez MX 95. And I know a lot, like a few people have already said that on your podcast, and I've seen that. But the whole point and the whole like premise behind that shoe, I'm not gonna lie to you, where I thought I knew Cortez before that shoe dropped, but I didn't.
Bro.
Like I've been paying attention to them since the Bolo exchange, but the whole kind of like premise of storytelling and getting to know Clint and how he conceptualized Cortez into what it is today. Like if you got to watch the sneakers live in real time, he was with Tinker
and Will, Tinker and Will,
shout out, Hackney's finest. It's just like being able to watch that in real time and understand the whole premise of Cortez outside.
Unbelievable.
It's just like before that point, if you thought of Cortez, you thought of kids 13 to 18 running all of the
I think you'd be forgiven in putting them in that bracket without realizing how deep that pool actually was in terms of their connection to that group and where he wanted to really take it. Like I think a lot of times we can pigeonhole things and you can put them in I'm not going to mention any other brands, but you can put them in the same bracket as a lot of other streetwear brands that we have in the UK. I think certain things they've done in the last few years have put them a notch above. And then when the Nike thing got mentioned and ultimately when it became a thing, I could understand why. Because of how deep that connection was to their tribe and the things that they were doing that was sort of just breaking the mold. So I don't disagree with that. That's a strong 3.
Because it's kind of just like that outside of the actual shoe. It also provided a sense of value for me in my job as well, because during that time and knowing when that broke, that was when I understood the value of TikTok and how I could utilize it for my audience.
Bro, you did drop it on TikTok, bro. I did remember seeing you do that, bro.
When that was one of the first ever TikToks that I done, and I realized the power of what social media could really do. Because if you look on it right now, if you type Cortez X Nike, we're still one of the top liked videos on TikTok for that in the search on the search platform aspect of that app. And from that point on, it kind of showed me the value of what I can do as a content creator to be able to inform, to be able to tell people this is happening right now and this is why you should be excited. So
crazy.
Kind of just like that whole association that I have with the Cortez MX 95, everything that followed up before that. The unfortunate thing is I don't have any of the free pairs within my own.
Me too, man. It's so sick. I tried so hard, man. But I'm a bigger size. I'm a size 12, so it's really tough for me to get the sizes anyway. But I will have them before it's all said and done. I will have them, man. It's just how because the price right now, like the price right now it just keeps on going up. I didn't look because I like the pink beam. I think it's like 500-600 now. So like, broski, I'm not that guy right now, man. Give me a couple years, I'm gonna get there.
It was just like the reason I have all my frees right now is because I bought all of them during like the pandemic, and like I didn't have to spend anything else on anything but shoes apart from like rent and like food and whatnot. So it's just,
I get it.
I put my priorities straight, just to clarify. So it's kind of just like knowing now. It's so difficult for me to want to justify buying resale for any pairs of shoes right now. And it's,
Yeah,
if I miss it on retail, it just is what it is.
it just is. You got to charge it, bro.
Yeah.
All right, bro. No, I appreciate that top three. That's a strong three, man. And yeah, Cortez are doing their thing. So yeah, I'm gonna ask you a bit of an irreverent question. It's one that I love and one that seems to be loved. It's called Desert Island Kicks. You're stranded on a desert island and you got two pairs of shoes with you. They don't have to be from your collection. They can be two pairs of shoes from anywhere, from any era in the world.
Oh, you say
But two pairs of shoes. What I'm trying to understand and what the people want to know, John Francis, is what two pairs of shoes do you have with you on this island and why?
I mean, so I thought about this question earlier, and it's going to be such a rogue answer because I don't even like this shoe. It's Cortez. If you remember what that was.
Yes.
So there's a justification of why, because first of all, I've never owned a Cortez in my life.
Wow.
The whole point of what I think about on a desert island, I cannot survive being on a beach, especially if it's rocky, without like some aqua shoes of some sort. And
oh my days.
if you know the Cortez, it breaks up into 3 different shoes, right? So
yeah.
for me to be able to use that karate slipper to be like my aqua shoe, and then I can use the other pair to like do any treading in the jungle or whatever is in that desert island. So I have a multifunctional like pair of shoes. One can be drying out in the sun. The other I can use functionally. So technically, I have a whole 2 3-in-1 pair of shoes that
Yeah.
be easy to wear.
See, people,
Smart.
right? People, this is how you do it. He's giving it to you, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is how you do it, man. This is how you do it. That's a very good answer. Like, so good. You're almost cheating. It's so sick, right? I loved it. I absolutely loved it, man.
This is the funny thing because like the Cortez has a fan base of its own, and I've never owned a pair. But
yeah,
when we got it in to create content, which was also a very funny piece of content because I did it with George, it's just looking at the shoe, I was like, this is wild, but it makes so much sense.
100%.
Kind of just like being able the box of that is really great, by the way. Not that it's gonna work anyway in a desert island, but you can make a fire. I don't know, but it's just knowing that you can have a shoe that's like multi-purpose in essence.
Yeah, multi-purpose is smart, man.
Yeah, you just
multi-purpose is very, very smart. All right, man. So you kind of destroyed the whole game. Bust the whole cheat code on the first one, man. So tell me what that second pair is, man. It's probably gonna draw for some mad heat.
Yeah. Now that I have a shoe for purpose, I need one
For real.
completely just the style. For me, it has to be about functionality again. So I'm probably going to be going with another Gore-Tex pair. It could be like Air Force One again, like the same as I mentioned last time, where it could be the black joint, it could be the white with the ghost midsole. You can probably pull up the image. Like that looks cleaner in the desert.
Hard, yeah. Hard.
But I just wish there was a shoe where you could like start a fire with it easy, innit? Like I feel like that's a shoe, but I can't name it on the top of my head.
You know what? For some reason, I feel like that's a shoe as well, man. But I definitely can't think of it right now. But yeah, people, if anybody's out there that knows about the kick that you can literally start a fire with, and I'm not talking about on the dance floor like John Francis. I'm talking about an actual fire.
Yeah. Please reassure me that I'm not Delulu because I have a shoe that it can start a fire with. Like you can get a flint on not the laces.
Yeah, like it. Yeah, for real. There's a
fire or something. I don't know. It could be
a
Nike. I'm not sure, but it's one of them.
All right, well, get the people, get the team on that one. But you know what? To be fair, I mean, either way, 2 solid choices, man. 2 very solid choices, respectfully. Like, starting with the Gore-Tex Air Force Ones. Gore-Tex is always going to make an appearance in question when I ask this question because a lot of times people just want to feel protected, want to feel safe, like somewhat, I'm saying like impenetrable in terms of like the elements, and especially in Air Force One with that solid midsole, outsole thing, like that just big inch thick, like you can bust some stuff up with that. So like it's definitely useful. And then the 3-in-1 Cortez, yeah. A part of me was super like impressed, and a part of me was a little annoyed. I can't lie, because you kind of broke the whole system with that. It's a very, very good answer, John Francis. So I have to respect it. You get me? Those are the rules of the game, and he played by the rules, and that is one shoe that splits into 3.
Mm-hmm.
You get me, man? So yeah, people, that's how it's done. All right. All right, bro. Before I let you go, we're gonna do some quick fires, and then just a little bit after that.
Let's go.
Right? Are you ready for quick fires?
Oh, come then. Let's go.
Come on, let's do this, man. All right, no dilly dallies on this, yeah. Straight.
First
Right.
comes into my mind.
That's just it. All right. We're starting with a big one: Nike or Adidas.
Nike. Key.
New Balance or Adidas.
New Balance.
Can you wear Nike or Adidas together? Yes or no?
Yes, because I'm not a sponsored athlete.
Oh God. Okay, we may come back to that. Okay, what was your last sneakers app win?
Oh, it's been so long. Mate. I think it was the Fragment Sakai LD Waffle. I could be wrong,
Okay.
but it might be that.
I think I know the answer to this, but what is your Jordan number?
3, easy.
YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok?
Oh, Instagram.
Nice.
TikTok are ruthless. Let's just say that.
I respect it. Yeah, no, TikTok are like mad ups and mad downs, but like I mean, it's the game we're playing right now. Yeah, it's dangerous.
You know what? Yeah, the fact that I had to fight people to tell them that this is my height and they don't believe me is mad. Like I am.
They'll tell you they get raw on TikTok,
Honestly,
man. They don't care.
If they know better than you when it's just literally how would I not know what I am? Like they're telling me what I am. I'm very confused. But yeah.
Yeah, that's where the trolls live, man. Respectfully. Sneakers, Kicks, or Creps?
Oh, Creps.
Spotify or Apple?
Spotify.
What is your favorite collaboration?
Oh, it's gonna have to be that. Peace -1, Nike.
Like that. Vans or Converse?
Can I say neither? Okay.
No.
If I had, this is my show. Okay. Vans.
All right. Laces or slip-ons?
Slip-ons.
Default laces or patterns with your laces?
What does that mean?
So do you just use as they come out the box? You just use them as they come out the box, or do you have a particular pattern that you like to put on your laces?
Default for me.
Respect. Do you customize your shoes or you straight factory settings?
Straight factory.
Retro or innovation?
Retro.
Flip-flops or slides?
Slides.
Socks or barefoot?
In what context?
In whatever context you want, broski.
Whenever wearing shoes, socks.
Comfort or style?
Comfort.
Fresh and clean or beaten and battered?
Fresh and clean.
Washing machine or hand wash your shoes?
Hand wash. Clinell wipes, easy.
Like that. Lows, mids or highs?
Oof. Lows for convenience.
And triple blacks or white on whites?
Triple black. I don't know what that says about me because I'm not a bad man, but you know.
Nah, triple black straight for the murderers and demons of the night, broski. So yeah, we now know who John Francis really is.
What it is.
No man, no, decent showing on the quick fires. We will come back to one thing. You did say something that is a little controversial. I asked the question, can you wear Nike and Adidas together, yes or no? Your answer was yes, because I'm not a sponsored athlete. What the hell do you mean, G? What is going on?
To me, like, it comes down to availability, innit? You're not an F1 driver, you're not an NBA athlete, you are not. Oh my days, okay, I get it when it's just like socks and shoes, but it's just like, why am I being clowned if I have like an Adidas like top or Adidas jacket and I'm wearing Nike shoes, you know? So I actually got clowned for this at work. Yeah. I'm not gonna shout out who said it, but someone at work was telling me, why are you wearing a Jordan hat with an Adidas jacket? So my Adidas jacket was waterproof. My hat was waterproof. I'm going for functionality here. If I don't have a waterproof else, why am I going to try and buy the same brand?
You see, bro, this is I'm not happy about what's going on here. Why are you trying to be too logical, bro? There's no space
well, I make-
for logical there's no space for logical reasoning when it comes right to these kicks, bro.
you know
And
what?
when it comes to this game, yeah, you need to pick a side and
Bro.
stick to it.
Bro, I live in a London house. There is no space for full outfits of every single brand, yeah? So you cannot be telling me there's no space for logic when I don't have physical space. Okay? So that's how it's gonna be. So
Do you know what, man? Do you know what, man? Who am I? Who am I to impress upon another man? You
yeah.
get me? My ideals, you get me? The truth of the matter is, yeah, I always ask that question tongue in cheek. And even though I don't really want the world full of people that are just cross-pollinating brands out here, but the truth of the matter is, people do what you want to do. Like I'm saying, be who you want to be and do what you want to do. It doesn't define you. But just know people will judge you. And some of them will cross the road when they see you, respectfully.
No, but no, like let me clarify. I'm not gonna be doing Adidas socks with a Nike shoe. I'll do Nike shoe. Why are you sipping your drink, Brad? No,
see, this is when it always happens, man. Whenever I say that, bro, people start then backtracking, they start clarifying,
yeah.
they start clarifying, they start making things clearer.
The point of just like the further apart it is, the more acceptable it is, isn't it?
See all these caveats, man. I love it. All right, broski. All right. What I want to ask you is about the term sneakerhead. It gets thrown around a lot in the culture, man. What does it mean to you?
Sneakerhead to me is you're able to tell a story about a pair of sneakers, and that is special to you. So I know there's going to be a lot of people who hate on like others who have like a cut and paste shoe wardrobe. That's fine. That's cool. But as long as you can justify the reason that you get your pairs of shoes other than the fact that you like it, like I want to be able to tell that you have a story associated to it. You have something that you can say above what the physical shoe is. And one of the best quotes I've ever heard in terms of the world of sneakers is, a shoe is just a shoe until someone steps into them. And you want to be able to tell your story with what you got in it. That's how it is. That's from Air, by the way. I know like that movie was a bit lackluster, but that quote in itself.
That's a strong quote, man. We love that.
Honestly. So it's kind of just like you can call yourself a sneakerhead at any point, where you can have one pair of shoes, you can have 100. As long as you have the story to back it up with, I'm not going to tell you whether you are or aren't a sneakerhead, because it comes true to why that is meaningful to you at the end of the day. So
I respect that, and I don't disagree with what you said as well. But in that regard, would you class yourself as a sneakerhead?
100%, because at the end of the day, like there aren't a lot of people out there who are Jordan 3 heads per se, and coming down from the history to what I do now, like whether that was before I joined TSS or after I joined TSS, there was still a story to be told for me. And that's at the root of it. That's just all I've ever wanted to be. Just someone with a story to tell.
I respect that, broski. And I can 100% confirm, without a shadow of a doubt, John Francis is Kicks Chronicles certified sneakerhead, broski. Without a doubt. You get me? So, yeah, this has been absolutely amazing. I really, really appreciate your time, John Francis. It's been really, really cool having you. Before I let you go, like 7, 8, 9 million people are gonna watch this, so you're gonna want to let them know how they can support what you're doing, what you've got going on. Let the people know what's going on.
All right. So if you don't know already, your boy is part of a wonderful team called the Supplier. We aim to get you your next pair of trainers easy as, whether that's retail, resell. I feel like I'm just a spokesperson for the brand right now, but honestly, we're real people behind what we do. We're not just someone that's selling you a bot. That's not even what we do. We work as the middleman to get you your pair of trainers and everything that you need, whether that's just the most limited pair or you're looking for a good bargain. And that's what's important. So what I do within the brand, I just work as a creative part of the team to be able to, you'll probably see me in all of our visual content, whether that's any of our podcasts, breaking news stuff that we do, and some funny stuff on TikTok as well, every now and again. But yeah, that's where you'll find me, at the Supplier. that's who your boy is, and that's what we are.
Definitely. People make sure to go and light up the Soul Supplier, light up John Francis as well, man. And yeah, whenever you see his face come up on your feed, man, make sure to like that video. You get me, man. I'm sure it gives man a little boost in the offices. People know that, you get me, man. He's doing some good work, man, and he's been doing good work for years. He always comes up on my feed, and someone that I can trust in terms of his opinions. And yeah, the Soul Supplier are like, they need no introduction. We know what they're about. So it's all gravy. Really enjoyed having this conversation. I knew, sort of coming into it, I knew your kind of vibe, and I knew we'd kind of have a great convo, and I'm so happy that we got the time to do this, man. So yeah, man, really appreciate you, and I'm hoping you just go on and do great things, broski, and continue to like fulfill the dreams that you want to do in this game, you get me? If you ever need anything from me, bro, just let me know. You get me? I'm happy to support, my G. With all of that being said, I've been your boy PROZECH. This has been John Francis from the Soul Supplier. It's been another amazing episode. We talked about amazing things. Guys out there, you know what you're meant to do at this point. You're meant to like, comment, subscribe. You're meant to do all of those things. Rate, review, 5-star only. You heard what I said, 5-star only. That's all we're interested in, G. You get me? And yeah, people, never be afraid to holler. Obviously, you know, you can holler at me on all the various different platforms. And yeah, keep on supporting us, and we keep on reaching out to these people like John Francis in these big organizations. We keep on having this amazing content. You get me? You get me? So keep on supporting us, and we keep on supporting you, man, with good content. And with all of that being said, I've been your boy PROZECH. This has been another episode of Kicks Chronicles with your boy John Francis. And until I see you, man, down the roads, stay blessed. Before we go, what's George like in real life?
He's just as eccentric as you've probably seen him, bro.
He's exactly the same.
Yeah.
That guy is he's one of a kind.
He will not match his energy in any way. He's not like, that is not a facade. That is really him.
That is real life,
Honestly,
G. That is real life. Respectfully,
he brings energy, and
yeah. Shout out to George. He brings that energy. Real talk, man. Shout out to George, man. He's a G. Say it, people. Thank you for listening to this episode of Kicks Chronicles. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, rate, review, and all that good stuff. And remember, full video version is available on YouTube, audio versions available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.